Well, hello everyone. We've got this skid steer here, Workmaster, whatever you want to call this, that's been sitting for years next to the building here. We've always just kind of mowed around it. I parked it years back, but never really messed with it again. And every time I want to mess with it, I just end up not having the time. So I'm going to try to get this thing running. I've tried to get it started a couple times before. It won't start up. I'm not sure what's going on. It's probably bad fuel or something going in there. So basically I'm going to see if I can get this thing to start so I can move it and get it in the building and you know, revamp it, do what I was going to do with it years back, really get this thing moving. So this video is going to be me trying to get this thing running. So let's see if I can get it to start and get it to move. I had to stomp down the weeds out here to get to this. Some of these weeds are becoming little trees over here. But here's the cover off where you put the battery, and just a mess of wires. It was one of the things I wanted to clean up on this thing. I don't know, whoever had this before, just I don't know what the heck they did, but I mean, it ran. It did run, and I don't know what went to what. I guess I'm gonna have to bust out the wiring diagram and go through all of this, but someone made a rat's nest of this wiring here. But again, it was like this before when it was running, so I'm not gonna mess with that now. I'm mainly gonna focus on trying to get this thing cranked and moved and get it into the building so I can work on it. So the key is still in there, and it's a funky old style key, I guess, that's in there, but this is like I think it's a 1998 JCB 208S. Call it the Workmaster. It's got it's like a skid steer and a backhoe, kind of like a small backhoe. But anyways, it still has the key, and well, it kind of turned a second. I gotta figure out what's going on with the battery. I put a battery in here that was charged. I don't know if you can hear that, but that's the pump. I don't know what's going on with it. All right, I'm gonna play with it and see if I can get this battery working. It doesn't seem to, no lights are coming on or anything, so I'm gonna first work on getting this battery and everything hooked up right. All right, so one of the things I'm gonna do is take this cap off, pull the bleeder plug out of there, and start letting some of this fuel drain out. The fuel pump is down there. That's the electric lift pump, and then of course the engine has its own fuel pump, but or the injectors have their own pump. But I'm gonna pull this off and get at least some fuel flowing out of there to make sure I got some fuel coming through, and see if it'll do anything, come to life at all. Right now I'm not getting anything from the battery. I'm looking for if there's any fuses or anything like that in between, but for a second there I had some life from it, but I'm not getting it now. I may put it on a set of jumper cables, see if that helps. All right, so I got the electric lift pump going, and as you can see, that's not it's not pretty looking gas coming out of there. There's definitely water and whatever else in that fuel, so I'm gonna go ahead and drain all of this. Looks like almost pure water coming out of there. I don't know where it would have gotten water that bad sitting in there, but who knows where there could be places to get water. So I'm gonna have to drop everything and dump out the tank, and I'm gonna drop the lines and pull this filter off, clean everything out, and then refill it up with good diesel. So I'll get to doing that and then start working on this pump again, try to get it cranked. Okay, I pulled the fuel filter housing off, cleaned out the fuel filter. It was pretty nasty inside of there. Drained it out. I don't have a new filter, so I'm letting that drain, and I kind of cleaned it out the best I could, flushed some new diesel through it. I cleaned out the fuel filter housing real well, cleaned it all out, pulled it apart, cleaned all the insides, So this thing should be ready to go when it comes to, you know, being cleaned out. So that is the fuel filter housing. And I drained the fuel tank. Luckily it didn't have that much diesel in it. Did have a lot of water. I mean, it looked like it was 50-50, so it must have had a lot of condensation built up in there. I'm not sure, but had a lot of water in there. So I was letting it pump for a little bit. Here, I'll turn the fuel pump on. So now it's pumping out what looks to be pretty good diesel. I put a little bit of it in a baby food jar. It looks like it's pretty much all diesel. So I think we're good now on the fuel. So of course that's just up to the fuel pump. It probably has, you know, water in the lines. I'm not sure if that's going to keep it from cranking. If I can't get this thing to crank and push that fuel into there, I may have to take off the injectors and the injector pump and all that fun stuff. I'm hoping not, but we'll see. But I'm gonna get this put back together and try to crank it. All right, so right now I put the fuel filter housing back on. I dropped a nut, so I've got to get that from down there, but it's holding on fine. It's pressurized, fuel pump is clicking. Took the air breather out, the air filter for the breather out, just to make sure it's going to get enough air and everything here. So that's back together. I put the jumper cables onto my truck. It's a diesel, should have a pretty good size alternator, mainly because I can't get this to even turn over with just the battery. But once I put the jumper cables on it, now I can actually get it to turn over. But as you hear, it's not even, it doesn't sound like it's even trying to fire. It's definitely taking a lot of ampage because it's starting to melt the plastic on these jumper cables. But it doesn't want to fire. So, not really sure. I know it's getting diesel now. I know it's relatively good diesel. Should be fine. If I come over here and unscrew the, well, put that in with a screwdriver. But as you can see, just barely cracking it, you know, I get diesel coming out. Let me get a screwdriver and show y'all. I probably didn't need to put it on that tight, but as you can see, it's definitely pumping diesel in. Like I said, this is good diesel that I put in the gas tank. I pulled it all to pieces. You know, this is the hose here that goes into the injection pump, which then pushes it into the injectors. I got it clean all the way down to there. I don't know if I need to take that pump off or not, but you know, I was hoping not to, but I am getting diesel all the way into there. I'll tighten this back on a little bit, but it still won't crank. Like I said, it's got air because I pulled the filter out just to make sure that it's not a bad air filter or it's clogging it up any, but it just doesn't want to seem to fire. I don't know if one of these switches, I mean, these are just, you know, beacons and lights. That shouldn't be a problem. The only thing that may be an issue is this parking switch, which I believe putting it there means it's in park. I try to run it. I mean, I can hear it sucking in air and doing its thing, but let's just say that's not. Let's just say for some reason it needs to be like these, because I would assume these light switches were off, but I don't know. It's been here for so long. But let's just say now this is the spot that it needs to be in for park. Turn the key. So I don't know if I don't know what's going on with that. So probably gonna have to find out if there's some wiring or something that's causing a problem here, or if I need to pull off those that injector pump and clean it out. It very well, I mean, with the water that was in there, it very well could have water in there, or got some corrosion, or got some corrosion in the injectors. I'm not sure, but that's probably the next thing I'm gonna have to do. I'm gonna go ahead and unplug it from the truck and see if I can actually just move this skid steer in a better location manually. All right, so I unhooked the jumper cables and everything, moved the truck out of the way. I'm gonna try to move this just so I can have a better place to try to get this thing to start. One of the problems is that these, you know, stabilizers have fallen over time there, and I don't know, basically with it sitting, I mean, you can see it sitting, the tires have just kind of sunk into the ground a little. You know, it's rested itself into this spot, so I'm not sure how easy it's going to be to move the loader. I took the bucket off. I remember when I parked it, the bucket's on the other side of the property with the other implements. Even the loader is down there. I don't want to try to move it and bend something or bend my cylinders. So I'm gonna have to find a creative way to try to move this thing, but I may not be able to. I may have to work on it here. We shall see.